We're absolutely delighted and proud to host this final meeting of Moore4Medical, welcoming the 68 partners to Tyndall and Cork. We get to bring together not just the technologies, but the expertise, the platforms, show them some of our infrastructure. It will hopefully accelerate new products and services in medtech.
In the ECSEL joint undertaking Moore4Medical project, 66 European partners work together to develop open technology platforms that will accelerate innovation in 6 emerging medical domains. Future electronic implantable devices will be used to treat many chronic diseases. These implants will be smart, small and very specific.
The project is about building ultrasound-based implantable devices. We're trying to develop open platform technologies that use mainly ultrasound for different types of applications, and we want to include this in the next generation of implantable devices. But I think within the project we managed to develop some very nice individual products also together with our industrial partners that can first of all prove the concept, but also developing future products for the medical community.
The main demonstrator in this project is about a fracture monitor system owned by Ozipra, previously powered by battery. Now we want to power this device using ultrasonic waves.
The application of this demonstrator is to monitor the movement of a fractured bone. So there is a strain gauge that is used for that, and in this box is placed here. And the data are transmitted via Bluetooth through a phone. So if we touch the strain gauge, we will see the data transmitted. And they are CMOD with a special layer inside the dielectric that can trap enough charge, so we don't need an external DC bias voltage.
And in Boston Scientific, we develop and build a range of active and non-active implantable medical devices. And in this project, we are interested to explore ultrasound technology as a potential serious candidate for charging deep implants. The ultrasound charging experiment that are conducted so far shows promising results, and we are planning to continue potentially to use ultrasound as a charging technology for our next generation implantable devices.
And one other application that we're focusing on is using it to stimulate nerves. And this is one example of a very first demonstrator that we have developed, also together with our partners in Freiburg. I think right now we are at a stage where technology is available, mostly, but we need to make sure that we are capable of including all this technology into more reliable products and products that can serve a larger community. But I think we paved the way towards developing these open platform technologies.
Organ-on-chip is a rapidly emerging field where cell cultures in a microfluidic environment mimic the basic functions of organs.
In this work package, we have developed platforms that allow users to have an easy access and use of organ-on-chip devices. Now, organs-on-chip is a revolutionary technology that allows to replicate the microenvironment of tissues as if in the human body. We can help develop drugs more efficiently and more effectively for a whole range of applications. We have done it with 3 main platforms, respectively the Smart Multi-Well plate, an high-density electrophysiology plate, and a Smart Lead. With the Open Technology platform, we bring this diversity of technology into within a uniform and well-known form of interfaces so that the complexity of the devices is available under an easy-to-use interface, so that users already expert in using infrastructure in laboratories can seamlessly also get access to the complexity and the richness of organ-on-chip devices within a format that they already are expert in use with.
So I'm working on the Smart Multi-Well Plate, and it's an open technology platform for organ-on-chip technology, and it's meant to include multiple organ-on-chip devices, sensors, pumps inside this one single system to make the system easier to work for eventually the end users.
We have been participating in the Moore4Medical, creating a new chip for the Smart Multi-Well Plate for the recreation of skin on chip. For us, the Moore4Medical has been an opportunity to take a step forward in the high throughput technology for the organ-on-a-chip testing.
So we've been working on a smart lid, which allows us to measure glucose. So in Sphero they have their Acura flow plate, so they can place their micro tissues in here. And what we do is we put then our smart lid on top, which allows us to measure the glucose over a long time in the incubator.
Create the groundwork for the design rules, which are meant to create modular hybrid devices of the Smart Multi-Well Plate, and align it with the fabrication protocols that can be used in an industrial setting to actually bring all the parts together and make them coexist in a final device, which we have the electronics, we have the fluidics, and we have all the silicon components inside.
Moore4Medical has been a fantastic platform itself to organize a fantastic consortium of partners with very different and very well complementary expertise.
Next to helping develop better and safer medicines, smart electronic devices can help to assure that these medicines are administered in the correct way.
In Moore4Medical, we're very interested in solving problems associated with drug adherence. So many of our customers and many of our end users in Moore4Medical sell very, very high value biologic drugs, and these drugs can cost tens or even hundreds of thousands of euros per year. And we know that many patients don't take them as prescribed. Many more patients are taking medication at home via the use of injector pens and syringes. Many of those injector pens are not used correctly, so we are trying to make smart auto-injector pens that will engage with the patient via Bluetooth and via touchscreen, engage with the caregiver and the drug provider via wireless communication via the cloud. So again, we can monitor to make sure that those medications are taken on time and correctly as prescribed by the doctor. This entire component, which comprises most of the valuable elements of the device, is entirely reusable, and this component, which is disposable, will be provided to the patient as required. There are many studies out there that show that there's a significant uptake in patient adherence levels once you engage with the patient.
We work on the piezo electric micropump in that device, so I actually brought one. That is our pump. It's only 5 × 5 millimeters large. It's actuated with a piezoelectric element. So within that project, we're already in 2 work packages. We are in the pen injector, but we're also in the Smart Multi-Well Plate, where the pump's going to perfuse the medium on the plate.
The UPV roll has been basically the freeze dry of the drug that is going to be inserted in the intelligent pen injector. What I'm holding here in my hands is support just to make the freeze drying process easier.
What we're looking for is, I suppose, looking at novel delivery devices, increase the kind of options of being able to deliver drugs. I suppose that the big one on it for us here, which was kind of, I suppose, a start project, was a stretch goal. Can we actually deliver a lyophilized project in an automatic fashion? No product exists today that does that, and today we have got probably an early working prototype that can do that.
The combination of affordable MEMS, ultrasound transducers in combination with artificial intelligence will bring ultrasound diagnostics and imaging to first-line caregivers and even consumers.
We're working on affordable MEMS transducers. This is a very important step to really go to a wider spread applicability of ultrasound in future generations. It's really difficult to use ultrasound. You have to have a lot of knowledge of the human anatomy, and by facilitating the use of ultrasound, we believe that it can have a wider spread use. It's a 3D ultrasound, which improves the ease of use for the user. And there's still an automation step to be done to really extract from that ultrasound that volume information, the relevant image planes. But it's also for different application areas, like for example wearable ultrasound, where there is very little products at the moment in the market.
So this is an example of a wafer where you can see that there are different type of CMET ultrasound transducers are processed on this wafer. After the processing of this wafer, we dice them in small pieces. Then those pieces will be assembled on these kind of small PCBs. And these PCBs can then be used in all kind of ultrasound imaging applications. I think there are two main use cases which we developed here in this project. One is for ultrasound imaging, so that's also an example you see here. So this is a part of a component for an ultrasound probe. And the other application is ultrasound power transfer, and then this device should be integrated in an implantable.
This is absolutely great technology to be working on, and it really has a societal impact in the future, so that's great.
In the future, highly advanced optical fiber technology will be used to navigate minimally invasive instruments in the body, minimizing the exposure to X-rays for patient and doctor.
When you look at surgery in general, a lot of it is moving towards minimally invasive surgery, which means that the devices go through a small opening in your body. But to be able to do that operation, you still need to know where the devices are in the body. So as a result, X-ray is used to visualize these devices. And we are trying to create a situation where that type of surgery can be done without actually using X-rays. Where you normally have 2D images with X-ray, and you have to change the position of your X-ray system, this system gives a live image in 3D. And what happens is that you can see if something is moving towards you or away from you, which is something that you would normally not be able to do. So that has an added time bonus. If you have the guide wire already inserted in the patient, you would like to be able to put your therapy device over that guide wire into the patient. And to be able to do so, currently those optical connectors that you need are way too big. So our focus has been on creating an optical connection that has the same size as the diameter of a guide wire. It is really small compared to what is commercially available. So normally a guide wire looks like this. The ones in backloadable are up to 3.2 meters. And where you would normally have a standard optical connector like you would have in telecommunication, we've now moved to a connector that is really much smaller. So we've created a structure on this connector that allows us to put this in, and then a physician can with one hand basically put it in, turn the system, and as a result it's immediately aligned for readout. We look at the possibility to create not only our own devices that could be therapy devices that have a sensor in it, but also to create a technology where you can use everybody's therapy devices in combination with one standard guide wire. So that will be the next phase that we'll be moving in.
Our part in the project is to develop the optical guide wire in partnership with Philips. The project has gone really well, and we have made some excellent devices that are working and have great commercial potential, and we expect to see them in the market in the coming years.
With more and more patient data gathered by electronic devices, concerns related to data privacy and security call for the development of new technological solutions.
So the idea for Moore4Medical in the part of the security and privacy is to make sure that all the information retrieved from the patient is secured and private and not shared with the world. Data is uploaded to the cloud but encrypted and anonymized. Can't be decrypted without approval of the owner of the data, which is the patient. We can retrieve the data from the patient, send it to the cloud. The doctor can request access to the data. Data request is sent to the patient, allows or rejects, and the doctor, if accepted, can see the data, or it can be analyzed further. To know what is the best for the patient and what is simpler to the patient, not only to the patient but also doctors and nurses to simplify the process, how to simplify what is really hard and difficult to understand.
We spend approximately a third of our lives in bed. Highly advanced, sensitive and wireless sensors can be used to gather a wealth of information about our health in an unobtrusive way.
We're doing continuous monitoring, both in hospital as well as out of the hospital. So the main focus is atrial fibrillation, but there is also a part focused on sleep disorder. And the goal is to detect atrial fibrillation and then prevent heart diseases. It will be an integrated system that is specifically designed for people at home, so the people are just measured in their sleep while they are being at home. We did already a few different clinical trials, both in Finland as well as in Spain, as in Maastricht. We're including patients and measuring patients, collecting data and preparing the final demonstration. But in Maastricht, in the clinical trial, we make use of new systems. And that's an accelerometer system, a pressure sensor, and a radar system.
I think it's very important to develop tools to detect atrial fibrillation because it's really a serious health concern. And with this wireless system, patients can be monitored for a prolonged period of time during their sleep without any wires attached, so it's very comfortable for them.
So in the Spanish trial, we use existing monitors, like a smartwatch and an app.
I'm working in the sleeping disorder monitoring trial together with an hospital in Spain, in Lleida, and we are monitoring patients suffering from sleeping disorders in order to improve their sleep quality. Yes, we are working in developing artificial intelligence algorithms to detect apneas, and based on this information, provide the patient with recommendations to improve their quality of life.
At this point, over a third of our income in Tyndall comes from medical-related research, and this really illustrates the value in pulling together all of these European partners with different skills, different complementary expertises into a single high-impact demonstrator.
I really like the industry transfer because for me, obviously coming from research, I built those devices and I can kind of hand treat each single one in our laboratory, and it's great to see how that might come into real production and into large-scale production where it can then be used for that type of applications.
It's really nice. So we are learning a lot of things thanks to the collaboration in Moore4Medical.
I'm incredibly proud. I'm incredibly proud of being part of an international network and to be able to talk to people that even though we are from different countries, we actually all speak the same language and we can work together to make things that didn't exist until we started talking.